Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. All praise is due to Allah, and may Allah's peace and blessings be on the last messenger of Allah. Dear viewers, we'd like to respond to the Dispatches program which was aired on Channel 4 in the UK on the 15th of this month. This program claimed to expose Wahhabi teachings and those who were propagating it in the UK, as well as Saudi Arabian connections. Unfortunately, this program was a very irresponsible effort, and I'm sure it has done much more harm than good. Unfortunately, the material was biased and wasn't presented fairly, both sides being heard. At any rate, the section of the program which concerns me particularly is a quote which I made with regards to Prophet Muhammad's marriage to Aisha before the age of puberty, as being the defining parameters for marriage in Islam. This reality is something which no Muslim in his or her right mind can deny. However, this statement which I made was specifically in regards to attacks which were made on the Prophet's person for having married a person prior to puberty. Actually, what I clarified was that marriage to young people was something normal 1,400 years ago. And in fact, what happened was that the Prophet in his marriage defined for the generations to come where were the limits, what were the principles regarding marriage and age. His marriage defined the distinction between the child and the adult as puberty. Because though he married Aisha before she reached puberty, she did not come to live with him until after puberty. This was at the age of 9. Puberty at the age of 9 was not uncommon. It's quite common in Arabia. Now, I spoke about this with regards to the other option, the option which is followed currently in Western society, in Europe, where certain ages have been fixed, not in accordance with the natural transitions in a woman's life or a man's life, but numbers fixed by tradition or custom through debate, but really having no clear principles, and which is why they vary from country to country. So while in Holland the minimum age for consensual sex, and this is not marriage, of course in Islam there is no such thing as consensual sex outside of marriage, but Western society has chosen to accept consensual sex outside of marriage. The law in Holland is 12 years. A male or female may have sexual relations with somebody older than them, and it's considered to be legal at the age of 12. In Italy, it is 14. In France, it is 15. In Germany, it is 16. And in Ireland, it is 17. And in the UK, it is 18. 18 is for homosexual consensual sex. Heterosexual consensual sex is 16. So we say these numbers are very artificial. So what may be considered pedophilia in one country is considered to be legal sex in another country. So there's confusion here. What I pointed out was that Islam clearly defines for us the parameters. Puberty is the transitional point. This is the natural dividing line. This is when a woman can now conceive. This is when a man, a young man, can produce the sperm, which is a part of the conceptional process. So this, as I said, Muslims should not feel shy about, shouldn't feel, in any way compromised. This is the natural parameter set by Islamic law, and it will stand for all times. However, I did point out, and I have always pointed out, that Muslims living in non-Muslim countries are obliged to follow the laws of those countries. So if the minimum age is 16 in Britain for consensual sex, and it is accepted for marriage, the age may not be 16 for marriage, but consensual sex, there's a distinction made, then they are obliged, Muslims living in England, obliged to follow those laws. If they don't agree with them, if they want to change them, then it should be done through due legal process. If they can't do it, and they're not satisfied, and they prefer to be able to practice the marriage laws as permitted within Islamic Sharia, then the next option is to emigrate. I do not promote the breaking of the laws of the society in which they live. The second point, which was mentioned in the letter sent to me by Andrew Smith, who headed the Dispatches program, and I did respond to the first point, but when it was shown, it was only my saying, according to them, that it was out of context. But obviously, as you have heard, there is much more to it. The second point was that because the research is on Wahhabism as being taught, according to them, from the universities of Saudi Arabia, they asked me to confirm that, in fact, I was trained in the Islamic University in Medina, trained in my Islam there. And I pointed out to them in my response, my written response to them, that yes, I studied Islam, and if you want to call it trained, yes, I was trained in Islam in Saudi Arabia in the Medina University, but I was also trained in Islam for my PhD at Wales University in the UK. So if you're going to mention one, mention the other. If you're going to imply that that training implies that I've now got a mindset, then also put that same principle, apply the same principle for my studies in the UK, where my mindset would also be formed. These are the main 2 points that concerned me in particular. As I said in the very beginning, the program was a great disappointment. It stirs up ill feelings, and it involves a lot of very shoddy reporting, claiming that they were getting undercover information, which is available on CDs in the streets, not really anything secretive. And I would advise the channel, if it really wants to get to the bottom of it, to bring those who are supposed to be the propagators of Wahhabism, sit them down, hear their views, then challenge those views, and give people a two-sided picture of the story. With that, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to see my response, and I hope that it goes some way towards clarifying the confusion and the doubts which may have come from the Dispatches program from Channel 4. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.